If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and make not thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster, and treat those two impostors just the same.
I'm delighted to be with India's best-loved English writer. As the English nut, it's a dream come true for me to be able to meet him and talk to him. Thank you so much, Mr. Bond.
Thank you for arranging this little get-together, and I look forward to chatting to you and about books, writing, anything under the sun that's got to do with literature.
So we're going to talk about ghost stories and Kipling a little bit.
Kipling,
Yeah.
good old Kippers.
Yeah.
I remember writing that little story, the man who was Kipling, yeah?
Yeah.
And meeting his ghost when I'm on the steps of the Victoria and Albert Museum. And he sort of, in a way, he just tries to justify or apologize the fact that he's looked on so much as more of an imperialist or
Right.
or a racist even. I don't criticize him for that because he was reflecting the times and his own, with the imperialism and with the Victorian England, which everybody was, all the upper classes anyway, were all very prejudiced, you could say. But I feel that I've always felt, although I've read quite a lot of Kipling, that he didn't really love India. He uses India as sort of a canvas, a colourful background or a canvas, as in Kim, which is more of a travelogue than a novel. And the Jungle Books, you have the only character in it, he's half savage anyway, Mowgli. And he'd got his education in England. He came back, he became a reporter here on the Civil and Military Gazette and the Pioneer, and he covered a lot of happenings. And then left at the age of 23 and wrote these books when he was in America, Kim and Jungle Book, looking back on India. But he never in his entire life thought of coming back or coming here again, although he was a great traveler and traveled around the world. I think his ship once stopped at Madras or at Colombo, but he didn't really bother to come ashore. And so I think he used India to a great extent, but he was not attached in any way, I feel, to India. And some of his stories I found rather mechanical. But of course, the Jungle Books, they're great stories, not easy for children to read because his language is not, he wasn't writing them for children. Just those stories wrote for children, but even they're a bit complicated. So he was, highly thought of, and he's still read a lot today. Perhaps more in India than in England, because he was an excellent short story writer, and his, I wouldn't call it poetry, but his verse, he was very good at ballads and at story poems. The Ballad of East and West and the Grand Trunk Road, and he really romanticized and immortalized the British Army tramping around in my grandfather's time from one cantonment town to another. Yeah, he was very good at that.
You've also mentioned that you have enjoyed reading his books. And
yes, very much. His early stories, particularly Plain Tales from the Hills, which set in Shimla, I think, and around that area. True enough, they certainly lasted well.
The Phantom Rickshaw, I remember that you told your father that how could the rickshaw also come back as a ghost? You could understand how the Mem Sahib coming back as a ghost.
Yes,
but
that
how
was a technical fault in his story. Yeah. He has, this rickshaw goes down the khad, and the lady who was in it, it's her ghost that keeps reappearing. But what about the 4 men who were pulling the rickshaw? Nobody sees their ghosts.
Right.
Or obviously they didn't become ghosts.
Yeah. So it was very selective. Among Kipling's works, do you like the poem If?
Yeah, we had it at school. I don't remember all of it. If you can do this, that and the other.
Will you read it? I've got
you got it here. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and make not thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster, and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to, broken, and stoop, and build them up with worn-out tools, and so on. Yeah. It's a very moving poem and an inspiring poem too, and quite rightly we had it at school. And I think I'm not surprised that it was voted out. A few years back in Britain, they took a vote on the most popular poem ever written, not just by Kipling, by anybody, and this one was top the list. It was a great poem, no doubt.
Mr. Bond, thank you very much. It was.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. You made me talk. Normally, I'm a very silent person.
I'm really, really fortunate that you opened up and you were very, very sporting about it.
I am the English nut. Bye for now.
I'm the English nut. Bye for now. I have a special announcement to make for the fans of Ruskin Bond, which is the launch of a new venture called the Ruskin Bond Collections, which consists of signed copies of his books, combinations of different books, books with objects like this lovely stuffed toy.
Timothy the Tiger Cub.
Timothy the Tiger Cub. So you're going to find all this and more if you go to www.ruskinbond.in.